All right, what is going on, guys? Young 46. So today we're going to talk about steps to get better at this game. So these are kind of my steps or advice to you if you're new to the game, or if you've been playing for a while and you're just looking to get better. This would be my advice to you. So number one, know your distances. It's huge. It's absolutely huge to know how far your clubs will go. Not only with backspin, whether it be full, half, but what about topspin, right? So plan for any situation. So know your distances. You do that through club mapping. I've got some videos on mapping your clubs, kind of talks you through how all that works, but you need to know how far your clubs go. You also need to know how much wind impacts it, right? It's great if we know, my pitching wedge goes X, but if I have a 10-mile-an-hour direct headwind, how is that going to affect the shot? And I will say this, you can rely on other people's programs or things like Cat's Wind Calculator or Sergeant Bilko's. Those are great. But to me, knowledge is power. You learn more by going out and doing than typing numbers into a program, right? Actually learn how it affects it. You will become a much better player if you absorb the information and understand it, rather than just typing in, seeing what it is, and trying to hit it, okay? Number two, be comfortable in any situation. I can't stress that enough. You're going to be in some weird situations in this game, whether it be shots out of the rough or just different holes and weird shots. Be comfortable in it, right? Because you've practiced it, because you've been in that situation before. So learn how to be comfortable and be confident in what you're selecting for your shots. Again, that kind of comes with knowing your distances, knowing how wind impacts your ball, getting a feel for how greens release on certain holes, or if holes need to add or subtract distance. So make sure you've put yourself in that situation before, and obviously if you've had success in the past, it's going to make you comfortable with any type of shot. Number three is putting. I can't stress putting enough. It's definitely, for me, it's the part that separates my game from other people, right? I don't hit it the closest. There's people that hit the ball much closer than I do. They're much better at knowing the wind and their distances. Not a lot of people putt better than me. So the bulk of my time is more spent on putting than anything. Just because if you can make that 10, 15 footer to save birdie or save par in a clutch situation and keep momentum going, it's just such a huge advantage. And then, a lot of things I play are match play events. And just being able to sink that 15, 20 footer on your opponent when they feel like maybe they've won the hole, it's just huge. So to me, I spend most of my practice time, I would say 60 to 70% is spent on putting. Even to this day, today, still always just keeping up with my putting or working on just one or two little tweaks here and there. So never really satisfied, always trying to get better every day. Number four would be embrace the struggle. There are going to be rounds that are not going to go well, right? It could be the first hole, St. Andrews number one. If you're a better player, you're never expecting to par that hole, ever. But there's going to be times where you do, right? So how do you react mentally after that happens? So you need to learn to embrace the struggle or embrace the suck, right? Be mentally strong. You've got to be able to hit that reset button in your mind and just say, okay, we're just going to forget that hole. I'm going to play holes 2 through 18, and I'm going to play them in 17 under or 5 under or 6 under, whatever your level's at right now. Push yourself, right? Play great. Learn to be able to overcome adversity in the game, because there's going to be times where you're playing an important country club tournament or an e-tour or a competitive event or a live event where things aren't going to go as planned. And you need to have been in that situation before where you can draw back and say, okay, I've started off with par before and I've ran the table and I've still shot 18 under or 16 under or whatever's good for you. Rounds that you've had where you've kind of embraced it and struck through it and said, okay, now I've came out and shot this really good round. So I can't say enough how important that is. Sometimes a lot of people get real quick to withdraw. So push through it. Put yourself in that situation where things are going terribly wrong and you have to mentally grind and push through the round and do the best you can. You'll come out stronger for it in the end. Play up, not down. I think that's huge. If you are playing opponents that are not good, right? So if you're a legend and you're playing hacks all the time, you're not going to get better. That's just the way it works. So you need to play up against people rather than down, right? So push yourself to get better. When you're playing an opponent who you truly feel is better than you, it's going to make you much more focused, right? You're going to try a little bit harder on every shot, and that's going to make you better in the end. Whereas if you're playing people that aren't as good, you're not going to be as focused. You're just kind of lazily going through the process, and at the end of the round, you definitely have not gotten better, right? So we only go one of two ways. We get better or we get worse every day. Playing against people that are not good are not going to make you good. So it's okay to play against somebody and get your tail handed to you, right? Learn from it. Keep doing it. Put yourself in that situation over and over again. It's going to feel uncomfortable. You might be nervous. I remember playing against better players when I was a legend shooting legitimate 65 and felt good about it. And they would just kick the crap out of me. But you know what it did? It made me want to get better. I wanted to practice. I wanted to shoot like that guy, right? So it's okay. It's okay to fail, which is number 6, right? It's all right to lose sometimes, but the question is, did you learn something from it? Now, if you failed and you didn't learn anything from it, then obviously that's not good, right? So learn from your failures. That's always my big takeaways when I have bad rounds, even in important situations like live events or qualifiers or anything, right? I shot 3 under at Chambers Bay on 18 holes in the E-Tour qualifier for Dubai. Worst round I've ever shot, but that bad round, that failure, really, really led to me rediving into my game, pinpointing things I could get better at, and playing some of the best golf I've ever played because I shot 3 under at Chambers Bay in the E-Tour qualifier. So had it not been for that round, I don't think I would be as good as I am today. So it's okay to fail, learn from it, recognize it, and fix it. It's the people that say, I didn't fail, WGT screwed me, there's someone in San Francisco hitting buttons making me fail. Those people have a ceiling, and they'll never go past what they're capable of until they say, you know what, it's not the game, it's me. Which 89.99% of the time, or actually it's probably like 98% of the time, it is you. It's not the club's acting weird. It's maybe the hole plays differently, right? Go into practice mode. See if it plays differently. Don't just say it's WGT's fault or your club's fault or make up some excuse, right? Take ownership, test it out, see if it's you or them, and if it is, fix it, right? So learn to embrace that failure and use it to make you better. Next thing I'll say is watch other people play, and clearly I am really good at counting numbers. So I added something here right before I started this video, and then I forgot to change the numbers. So I'm sure someone's going to comment on that. But anyway, watch other people play, right? Go on Twitch, go on YouTube, wherever you want, watch whoever you want, and feel free to interact with them. One of the best things about our community, it's not the biggest community, but we do a really good job of helping other people. And that's really been kind of a cultural shift the past few years. When I started out, it was more, everybody was very tight-lipped and guarded about how they played the game because it was a competitive advantage. I'd like to say I kind of had a hand in kind of shifting that mentality a little bit to make it to where people are trying to help other people out, and they've been a little more open with what they know. So, pop in somebody's stream, say hi, and ask them questions. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by how open most people are in this game to helping you out. So ask your club mates. There's lots of different avenues for resources. Just be sure that don't ask people who aren't very good for high-level information, because garbage in is always going to equal garbage out. So I would just be a little mindful about who you ask for advice. Like if I have a guy who has a 40% one putt percentage, I'm not going to ask him for putting advice. That's just probably not going to work out too well for you. So just be mindful who you're asking. Number 8 would be learn how to practice properly, right? So a lot of people don't really know how to practice right. And that's okay. If you don't know, learn how, right? And sometimes you'll see people go out and they just play, and they call that practice. Well, that's not really practicing, right? Know your game, know what your weaknesses, and know what your strengths are. Obviously, we're practicing to our weaknesses. So if I'm weak in heavy winds, go practice heavy winds. Go put yourself in a situation where you've got to hit shots into heavy winds. If you're weak on your putting, go practice putting. And you don't necessarily have to practice everything at once, right? Maybe it's only 10 minutes a day, 15. You got to figure out what your timeline looks like. but break it down, right? So today I'm going to practice putts between 0 feet and 6 feet. I'm going to spend 30 minutes doing that. And then tomorrow I'm going to do putts between 7 feet and 12 feet, right? Break that big piece of the pie down and make it smaller. It's much more digestible if you break things down into smaller goals. So you could say, today I'm going to learn how to hit punch shots. So I'm going to go in and chart my punch numbers. I'm going to go in and work on pitches and putting, right? So break it down into small portions that are manageable, because if you look at it as a whole, you might just feel very overwhelmed. Like, my God, my whole game needs to be worked on. Just work on small pieces each day or every other day or whatever time you have allotted, and then it'll start to come together. I promise. You'll start seeing results, and then it's just huge. Learn how to practice properly. And then a self-plug here that also has the wrong number would be Amazon Prime. So if you guys have Amazon Prime, you can link your Amazon Prime to your Twitch Prime very easily, and you can subscribe to your favorite streamer for free. So it benefits them, whether it's me or someone else, whoever your favorite streamer is, even if it's not with WGT. It's really cool. They get all the benefits that a normal subscriber would get, and it's free to you. So it helps them out a lot, especially the smaller streamers. So if you have that, be sure you're using that. If you're not sure how to use that, just go to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/young46, and type !Prime. Make sure you put the exclamation mark so it looks just like that. And that'll give you a link so you can link it. It takes about 1 minute, very easy to use. And again, it means a lot to them. I appreciate you guys tuning into this video. If you have any suggestions for future videos, comment down below. I will also put the link to my Twitch channel down below as well. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the little bell icon for notifications when the next video comes out. As always, appreciate each and every single one of you.